Hi, this is Francisco Bujan from vitalcoaching.com, and we are talking about spiritual power. The topic for this video is keys to renew your mind. If you are along the spiritual path or practicing anything spiritual, you probably are familiar with meditation or with prayer or with spiritual techniques already. And I wanted to tell you a little bit more about how it works and why it has a positive impact in your mind. When we are talking about the mind, we are talking about mind patterns, we are talking about thoughts, we are talking about emotions, and all that is part of your personality, is part of your territory. Now, when we focus on meditation, very often we tend to believe that by focusing on meditation, we are going to connect with something which is up there, right? With a force, with a god, a goddess, or an absolute reality which is going to bring in a new set of energies into our bodies or free us from the existing limitations of our minds or our emotions. So what I want to tell you, it is that the process of meditation, or the processes that I tend to use with the people I teach, and also within myself, all these techniques have to do with renewing the mind. It has to do with also adding a new set of life force in your body, and on the etheric level, on an energy level, and clearing up old negative emotions. So why is this spiritual, right? When we think about it, why not put it within a perspective of simply saying, we are focusing on the mind, we are focusing on the thoughts, and we don't need that other bigger reality. Well, it's simply a way of looking at it, or a perspective, or a certain way of standing. If you believe that there is a force out there which is greater than yourself, and you can in a way partner with that energy or with that force to renew your mind, then why not doing it? Now you can take everything that I'm saying and put it within a perspective where you simply see the absolute, you simply see forces out there, and you try to invoke them and bring them into your existence. So how does exactly the renewal of your mind work? Well, we are in constant evolution. Our minds are changing all the time. Anytime you have an idea, you have a new thought, or you have a new feeling coming into your mind, something that you didn't experience before, it's the birth of a new mind pattern. And this mind pattern, what you perceive, this little thought or this little emotion that you perceive, is simply the visible part on the surface of your mind, the visible part of an interaction between yourself and an energy which is coming through you. So when we talk about renewal of the mind, what we are talking about is simply the integration of new mind patterns. Right now, in the present moment, we are positioned exactly between the past and the future, right? In this exact moment. And what we are doing is, anytime we integrate a new pattern, anytime we invoke new energies into our lives or into our system, what we are doing is taking a small step forward. We are tuning into the future. That's what we are doing. So when we talk about renewal of the mind, what we are doing is integrating new mind patterns. You realize that part of what you experienced in the past, you no longer need to experience it, right? It's in the past, precisely. It's part of a reality that you no longer need to dive into, you no longer need to tune into it, because it's an experience that you already had, and your mind is already familiar with it. And at the same time, there are some of those patterns from the past which are actually slowing you down, which can be even destructive for you. So what you want is to position yourself in a place where you are inviting new energy realities into your system. And when you do that, you tune into a long-term path of evolution for yourself, and sometimes for the rest of humankind, for the planet. So you do that by integrating new mind patterns. So how do you integrate these new mind patterns exactly? You already heard me talking about Sanskrit words, right? About mantras. This is one of the ways to integrate new mind patterns. You can take a word, a magic word, for instance, a word that represents love, right? For instance, Anuragti, and you start meditating on it. What you are going to do is create a bridge or a channel of energy between this energy reality, the energy reality of Anuragti, and your mind. In other terms, you are going to plug into that specific energy and bring it in. Another way of integrating your mind pattern, suppose that, for instance, you are in a situation where you are low on energy, right? You feel that you don't have enough energy. What are you going to do? You are going to integrate or you are going to use much more the color red, for instance, in your life. For instance, if you start wearing a red t-shirt, or put a red hat, or put a red painting on the wall, this energy, this fire which is contained in this color is going to impact in your mind and eventually shift your mind. So this is only an example. For instance, if you want to relax, if you want to be at peace and not be stressed up, you are going to use the color blue, which is going to relax you a little bit more. So this is only with colors, for instance, but you can do the same with words, you can do the same with the music that you listen to, you can do the same with the people you meet, or the websites you visit online, etc. So all that, everything we are talking about here, are mind patterns. These mind patterns are like mind objects that you integrate into your system, into your thoughts, into your emotions, and then this creates a channel of energy into your system. So what you want to do is very simple. Rather than even focusing on an energy which is out there and trying to reach it out and trying to escape reality, you think, okay, I'm living on this planet, I'm having a great time, and what I want is simply to bring in these forces which are at play all around me all the time and try to integrate some of it into my system, into my life. And I know that right now maybe my level of performance as a human being on this planet might be somewhere between 0 and 100%. If you try to estimate it for you right now, how much would you give yourself? If you give yourself maybe 50, 60 or 70%, it means that there is still room for improvement. So what are the mind patterns, what are the emotions, what are the patterns on the physical body that you would like to integrate that you are not yet expressing? It might be more love, or it might be more success, or it might be more openness or peace. All that has to do with integrating a new energy reality and making it your own. It means that at a certain moment, after you meditate on certain key words or key concepts or key ideas, you start integrating these new mind patterns in yourself, and then this gives you a greater feeling of expansion, sometimes a greater feeling of freedom, but it means that you keep on evolving. Now your mind never stops evolving, of course, but the process of evolution you get into can be mastered in a conscious way. It means that you can consciously decide what is going to be your next step. If you position yourself as the architect of your mind, or as the designer of your existence, you realize that hey, actually there is a way for me to impact positively in my mind. It is by choosing exactly what I want to have in it. And once you start realizing that, you start looking for the tools that you need to do that. Sometimes it's going to be an inspiration book, right? Something that you're going to read, which is going to give you a whole new set of ideas and positive energy to integrate into your life. But sometimes it's going to be one person that you meet, or something that comes back to your mind, a memory from a long time ago, or maybe a trip that you take to to an Eastern country. You go to Japan, end up in a Zen monastery and have this profound realization. Or it might be in the desert of Australia, where suddenly you wake up to the vastness of this nature and realize how powerful it is. So all that has to do with conscious choices. If we take this one step further, we start talking about renewal power, about transformation power, about the power of change, and also a word which is a bit more challenging, the power of destruction. It is your ability to get rid of the patterns that you no longer need and replace them by new patterns, new energies or new ideas which help you best fulfill your life and fulfill your destiny. Okay, I hope this makes sense. We'll come back to talk about this more in the future, because the process of renewal of your mind is probably one of the most central qualities, central concepts you can focus on and learn to master in your existence. You take care for now and have a great day. Bye-bye.